Good morning, students. In the last class, we discussed about the distance and displacement, the difference between distance and displacement, and we also studied the difference between speed and velocity. So, velocity means it is a speed with a direction, and velocity is a vector quantity. Now, when can we say that the body is in uniform motion? If the body covers equal distance in equal interval of time, we will say that the motion is uniform. But if the body covers unequal distance in equal interval of time, we will say the body is moving with non-uniform velocity or non-uniform motion. Now, here we are going to study about average velocity and then acceleration. So, what is meant by average velocity or average speed? We can say that average speed is the total distance travelled by the body to the total time taken. Total distance travelled to the total time taken is called average speed. So, I will write like this. Average speed equal to total distance by total time. So there are different instances which we can apply this formula. So I am just going to give you 3 examples. So example 1. Suppose a body is traveling from A to B. The entire journey is divided into 3 parts. This distance is x1, this distance is x2, this is x3, and the time is t1, t2 and t3. Then how will I find the average velocity? We only know the formula total distance by total time. So here, what is the total distance? x1 plus x2 plus x3. And what is the total time? t1 plus t2 plus t3. So this is the answer. This is how we will get the average velocity. Now, let us see another example. A body is traveling from A to B. I split this in 3 parts. The distance travelled is x1, x2 and x3. The speed will be v1, v2 and v3. They haven't given the time. Instead of giving the time, they can give the speed. Then what will you do? So average speed is equal to total distance divided by total time. Time is not given. So I can do time is equal to distance by speed. So the time t1 is written as x1 by v1. This is x2 by v2 and x3 by v3. That is the time. Suppose if all the distance travelled are equal, so I write like this: x1, x2, x3, all of them are equal to x. That means the distance travelled is equal. When the distance travelled are equal, what is the change in the equation? Let us see. V average is equal to x plus x plus x divided by x by v1, x by v2, x by v3. X plus x is written as 3x. and from the denominator I will take x outside. 1 by V1 plus 1 by V2 plus 1 by V3, and I can cancel x and x. Then rearranging the equation, I am getting V average is equal to 3 by 1 by V1 plus 1 by V2 plus 1 by V3. I take this denominator to the LHS and V average to the RHS. So I will get my final expression as 3 by V average is equal to 1 by V1 plus 1 by V2 plus 1 by V3. This is called harmonic mean. So when will we take harmonic mean? Harmonic mean is taken when the distance traveled by the body is same and distance and speed are given. Okay, if distance traveled by the body is same and if they have given the distance and the speed, then you will go for harmonic mean. Now I will give you the third example. In that, just imagine the body is moving again from A to B. I am giving the speed and the time. Each speed is given and each time is also given. So we need average speed is total distance by total time taken. Here distance is not there. How will we find the distance? Distance is equal to speed into time. Therefore, I will write V average is equal to V1 T1 plus V2 T2 plus V3 T3 by T1 plus T2 plus T3. This is how we can find the average speed. And again, I am asking if the time interval is same. That means if T1, T2, T3, all this time is same as T. Time interval is same, then what will be the change in the equation? I can write like this. V average is equal to V1T plus V2T plus V3T divided by T plus T plus T. So from the numerator I can take T outside. So T into V1 plus V2 plus V3 divided by 3T. Therefore T and T will be cancelled. Then what is the answer? V average is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3 whole divided by 3. So this is the equation for the average speed. This mean is called arithmetic mean. Arithmetic mean. So when will I find arithmetic mean? When the time interval is same. If they have given the speed and the time, and if the time interval is same, we go for arithmetic mean. And if distance traveled is same, we go for harmonic mean. So that's all about average speed. Now let us see what is average velocity. Average velocity means it is the ratio of total displacement to the total time taken. Average velocity is the ratio of total displacement to the total time taken. So I will write like this: V average is equal to x2 minus x1 divided by t2 minus t1, and which is equal to delta x by delta t. This triangle sign is called delta. delta x by delta t. So delta x means x2 minus x1, final position minus initial position, and delta t means t2 minus t1, final time minus initial time. We will get the time interval. Okay, so that is how we find the average velocity. Now, next is instantaneous velocity. What is meant by instantaneous velocity? It means velocity at any particular instant of time. Velocity at any particular instant of time. Think like this. You are traveling in a car and you are just going from this school to your home, and the distance is, say for example, 5 kilometers. But imagine the road is full of traffic. Due to heavy traffic, you cannot travel with constant speed. Every point of time, each and every second, the speed of the vehicle is changing. So when you reach your home, almost around 1000 times you must have changed the speed. So can you take the average speed at that time? If I try to take the average speed, then it will be V1 plus V2 plus V3 plus V4 etc 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 V1000 divided by 1000. So it's very difficult. So what we do is, if that being the case, we don't go for the average velocity. We will go for the instantaneous velocity, which means velocity at any instant of time. So what is meant by instantaneous velocity? It is defined as the limiting value of average velocity when the time interval approaches 0. It is defined as the limiting value of the average velocity when the time interval approaches 0. That means, see, I told you, no, around 1000 times you must have changed the speed. So what I do is, I will take a small time interval, say for example 1 second each. In that 1 second time, you cannot say that within that time the speed is not changing, speed is a constant. You can say like that, because even if it is heavy traffic, huge traffic, within 1 second the speed of the vehicle cannot change all of a sudden. So we will say when the time interval is very small, when it approaches to 0, then the speed is almost constant. So we will take such a short time interval and find the change in the speed in that particular interval. Okay, that is what is called instantaneous velocity. So here what I have written, V is equal to limit delta t tends to 0. You have to read it like that. V equal to limit delta t tends to 0 delta x divided by delta t, which means we just saw what is delta x, x2 minus x1, x2 minus x1 by t2 minus t1. When the time interval, we are limiting the time interval to 0, almost not 0, limiting it to 0 meaning like 1 second each, very small time interval. Okay, within that time interval, x2 minus x1 by t2 minus t1 is called instantaneous velocity v. And instead of writing like this, we will take dx by dt. This is a small representation. Somebody may ask me, sir, can I cut d and d? No. d by dt is a value that is called differentiation. So d by dt means d by dt of x means the change in position with respect to the change in time. Change in position with respect to change in time, that is dx by dt. So this is called first order time derivative of position. Okay, these are just simple representations. We will tell you how to do these numericals. Okay, for the time being, you just study like this. Instantaneous velocity is represented in this format, and this is written in shortcut form like dx by dt, which means change in x by change in time when the time interval is very small. Rate of change of position. Now next thing, what is meant by acceleration? So when the velocity changes continuously, we can say that the body is accelerating. So we will say like this: acceleration is the rate of change of velocity of an object with respect to time. Acceleration is the rate of change of velocity of an object with respect to time. So A is equal to V minus U divided by T. And SI unit is meter per second square. So what is V here? Final velocity. What is U? Initial velocity. T, time. So A is equal to V minus U by T. SI unit is meter per second square. Now, if the speed of the body increases with time, then the acceleration is positive. And if the speed of the body decreases with time, the acceleration is negative. Example, if you are traveling in a car, when you put the acceleration, when you apply the accelerator, then the speed of the vehicle is increasing and we will say the vehicle is accelerating. And when we apply the brake, we are actually reducing the speed. So when we are reducing the speed, the acceleration is negative. And negative acceleration is called retardation or deceleration. Okay, so when the acceleration is negative, the negative acceleration is called retardation or deceleration. So the direction of acceleration is in the direction of change in velocity. If change in velocity is positive, that means if the speed is increasing, the acceleration is in the direction of motion of the body. Listen to me carefully. If the speed of the body is increasing, the acceleration will be, the direction of the acceleration will be in the direction of motion. But if the speed of the body is decreasing, then the direction of acceleration is opposite to the direction of displacement. Okay, the direction of acceleration is opposite to the direction of motion of the body. Now, what is meant by uniform acceleration? Acceleration of an object is said to be uniform if its velocity changes by equal amount in equal interval of time. So there is a change in velocity, but the velocity changes equally in equal interval of time. For example, we are taking 1 minute time interval. In the first 1 minute, vehicle is moving with a speed of 5 meters per second. In the first 1 minute, vehicle is moving with a speed of 5 meters per second. In the second 1 minute, the vehicle is moving with a speed of 10 meters per second. In the third 1 minute, vehicle is moving with a speed of 15 meters per second. So like that, speed is increasing with a uniform manner. And if the speed increases with a uniform manner, then we call it as uniform acceleration. Now, what is meant by non-uniform acceleration? Acceleration is said to be non-uniform if its velocity changes by unequal amount in equal interval of time. Okay. So acceleration is said to be non-uniform if its velocity changes by unequal amounts in equal interval of time. So that's all about non-uniform acceleration and non-uniform acceleration. And next is average acceleration. So average, if the acceleration is changing, then we will go for average acceleration. And average acceleration is defined as the total change in velocity to the total time taken. So I will say average acceleration equal to V2 minus V1 by T2 minus T1. And V2 minus V1 is written as delta V and T2 minus T1 is written as delta T. So average acceleration is delta V by delta T. Now as we discussed in the same way, let us see what is instantaneous acceleration. What is instantaneous acceleration? If the acceleration changes continuously, then we have to go for instantaneous acceleration. Instantaneous acceleration is written like this. It is the acceleration at any instant of time, and it is defined as the limiting value of average acceleration when the time interval approaches 0. It is the limiting value of average acceleration when the time interval approaches 0. So look here, I will write like this: a equal to limit delta t tends to 0 delta v by delta t. Okay, and this can be written as dv by dt. So when I say dv by dt, what is dv by dt? Change in velocity by change in time when the time interval is very small. Okay, change in velocity by change in time when the time interval is very small. That is called dv by dt. Now, we also studied v is equal to dx by dt. Okay, v is equal to dx by dt. Now, when I put that here, I should be writing d by dt of, instead of v, I will put dx by dt. So, a is equal to d by dt of dx by dt. Okay, d by dt of dx by dt, which is written as d square x by dt square. So, there are two expressions for acceleration. The first expression is dv by dt. The first expression is dv by dt, and the second expression is a is equal to d square x by dt square. So, this is all about instantaneous acceleration. Thank you.